Hey guys, I have a new challenge. My challenge is that I'm going to pay off my car loan early. And by early, I mean by December 31st, 2024, my car loan will be paid off. Y'all, welcome back. My name is Joy. I am 48 years old. I am single by way of divorce, and I work as an educational sign language interpreter in a high school here in Illinois. And I am on Dave Ramsey's baby step number 2, which is the debt snowball. So welcome back, you guys. Thank you guys for coming back and for following this journey. Because if y'all weren't here watching, I feel like I would have a very difficult time being accountable. But let's get into it. My salary for the 23-24 school year is $37,756, and that is what I make in 10 months, and they spread it out over 12 months. So because of that, I feel like I make a low income. I am making less than $50,000 a year, just in my salary, but I have earning potential that can get me up to $50,000, I believe. So this is where we are today. This is what we're working with, $37,756, and then I have opportunities to make extra income, but we're going to get into that. So first, I want to rewind and talk about this car a little bit, because we're going to talk about how I'm going to pay this car off, or at least my lofty goal of paying this car off. And yes, I owe $10,836.55. I have my notes here. Y'all know me. I gotta have notes over here. Got it propped up on my box again. So we're gonna talk about this car. So back in 2018, I was driving a 2005 Ford Explorer, and I had gotten that used, and I'd had it for maybe about 3 years at that time, and that truck ended up breaking down. So one day I went out to go to work, whatever, and it was driving funny. Actually, I was on my way home one evening, and it started driving funny, all the things, whatever. So the next morning, I right away called the Ford dealership. I was like, hey, because the Ford dealership was just right around the corner, and I just happened to have a Ford Explorer. And so I called them, hey, can I bring my car in? And also I need an oil change. So I went in, and they looked it over and said that whatever was wrong with it, I don't remember what it was, but whatever was wrong with it, because I know it was leaking fluid like a few days before, but because it was still driving, I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, oh, And at the time, I didn't even think it was from my car, because I saw it one day when I came out of work, and so it could have been from my car, or it could have been from the car next to me. So I just presumed it wasn't my car, so I didn't really think too much of it. But then it started driving funny, all the things, and so when I took it to the Ford dealership, they came back and they were like, well, this is what's wrong with it, but we don't make those parts anymore. So I was like, okay. So I just took it back to the apartment, and at the time I shared this apartment with 2 of my brothers, my little brother and my older brother. And so I was talking to my brothers about it, and my little brother was like, well, let's go, look at cars. Let's go see what they got. And I'm like, hell sway, because I ain't got no money, child. I didn't have no money. I never had money as an adult. I didn't care how much I worked. I just never had money, but I digress. So we went to the dealership, and he came back with me to the dealership, and so he sat down and talked to the salesman and everything like that. And so my brother was like, well, how can I trade this in? Or how much can we get for a trade-in, blah, 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 whatever. They did all the car talk. They did all the dealer talk, all the car speak. And then my brother was very gracious, and he put down $2,000 on a new car for me. And so they were talking, and this man was like, well, the truck just came in, and I have a 2018 Ford Focus. It has no frills, no thrills, but it's a new car. And so I was like, my brother was like, great. And I think because he worked for the railroad, he got some type of railroad person's discount or something like that, because I think they give military discounts, railroad discount. They did do some type of discount, so he got some type of discount. So I was like, great. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, well, let's test drive it. And so we went out, we test drove the car. I think at the time it had like 3 miles on it or something. Maybe somebody test drove it before they drove it onto the truck, but it had just come in. It had just, truck pulled up and it was on the truck and they were unloading it off the truck. My brother was like, done. $2,000 done. And I was like, why would you do that? He was like, well, you need a car, don't you? To me, that said, what I heard was, I'm not driving you to work. So how you gonna get there? Because at that time, I still worked for the co-op, but I was working in a different program. I was working in our transition program, which are the 18 to 22-year-olds who need like life skills and things like that. So that particular program was located about 45 minutes away. It wasn't too bad. It was a straight shot there, but still, it was 45 minutes away. And so he's like, you need a car, and he does very well working for the railroad. So they were like, okay. So he put the money down, didn't ask for it back. You guys, my brothers, when you talk about brothers that have come through, like, man, it is just the grace of God, like, to just have good brothers, you know. And so good young men, right? My dad and my mom raised them right, like just good men. And so he put the $2,000 down. I brought it home, and I drove that car everywhere when there was not a place in the United States that I was unwilling to drive to. I drove everywhere because I mean, it just felt so good to have a car that I knew wasn't going to break down. I knew nothing was going to go wrong with it. So anyway, let's fast forward. So 2018, I bought this car, brought it home. But then in about I want to say end of 2021, beginning of 2022, the car dealership started calling me and wanting me to trade my car in, because I guess they have like a certain number of used cars in their inventory that they like to keep. And so because my car at that time was now a few years older, they were trying to get me to bring it in and trade it in. And so I talked to the lady a little bit and was asking her, you know, questions about the car and everything. And I was like, well, I don't really want an older car, because at the time I felt it was still like it was definitely under 100,000 miles. So I didn't necessarily want an older car, and I didn't want to put any money down. So I'm like, well, if you're calling me, blowing my phone up about this car, well, I have stipulations. Like, I'm not even gonna waste my time. If I don't want to put any money down, and I don't want a car that's older than the one, or have less miles, or have more miles on the one that I already have, or whatever. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it needed to be a good deal for me. Like, I don't care what you need to make, what you need to do. I need to do what's best for me, right? And so anyway, they were calling me, and so she was like, well, she's like, I don't know if you can get, put any money down, if you can get away with not putting any money down, I was like, well, then I'm not really interested, whatever. So time went on. My car started having this problem, my Focus. It started having this problem. It started, like, when I would pull up to like a red light or a stop sign, anytime I had to go from stop to accelerate, my car would like stutter. Like, it would stutter. It would drive fine, but it would stutter to like get started and everything like that. And so I took it in to the dealer. I called them, let them know what was going on. He was like, okay, bring it in, we'll check it out. I brought the car in, and he told me what was wrong with it. Again, y'all, car speak, I don't know what he said. It had something to do with a clutch. Now, I know it's an automatic car, but apparently automatics still have a clutch or something. Like, it has something that switches it from gear to gear or something to that effect. So he said, this is what's wrong with it, and it's going to cost $1,200. I was like, can I drive this car without getting this repair? He's like, yes. He's like, this isn't the worst case of this situation I've seen. So yeah, you can drive it for a little while longer or whatever. So I was like, well, I'm going to drive it until the wheels fall off, because I just need to save $1,200. Now, mind you, I had zero money confidence. right? I had zero confidence that I was going to be able to save $1,200 to get this car fixed. Like, there was just no way. I just couldn't even see it. I was like, I was living paycheck to paycheck. And before every paycheck, I was borrowing from one of my brothers for gas. I was borrowing money for gas, or borrowing money to buy food, or, like, I just couldn't see myself saving this $1,200. So meanwhile, while I was in this dilemma, I remember thinking I remember being in a place thinking like, I'd be praying to God and asking him to help me, and I feel like he's not helping me. And I had been diligently, we were going to church, and we had this connect group that I was going to for my church. And I remember me really being able to talk to my leaders about the situation, like about feeling like I'm asking God for money, I'm asking God for this, I'm asking God for that. No matter how much money I make, I still feel like I never have any money, and things like that. And one of the things that they were reiterating was that, like, well, the promises of God in him are yes and amen, right? So if I pray according to his will and his answer is yes, then why am I not seeing it? So I started praying, I started changing my prayer, and I started asking God, like, if you are answering my prayer, I need you to show me, open my eyes, because what was happening was that I was praying for God to do it a certain way. So for example, I was praying for $1,200 to get my car fixed, and I felt like he just wasn't doing it. Because I was asking for the money. And this isn't the first time I've asked God for money. I need money to do this. I need money to go to school. I need money for this. I need money for that. I was always asking God for money. And I was like, and I don't want to borrow from my brothers. I want you to give it to me in my hand, drop it off at the door. I don't care how, rain it from the sky. But I was asking God to answer my prayer in a particular way. And so during this time is when I'm going through this whole thing about, like, God, if you are answering my prayer, then I need you to show me. I need you to open my eyes to what you're doing, because I was walking around being angry at God because I felt like he wasn't answering my prayer, right? And so I was driving one day, still needing this $1,200 to get my car fixed. My leaders were praying with me about it and things like that. And I remember she was praying, like, Lord, like, we know you're good, answer her prayers, blah, 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 whatever. But at the same time, I needed to pray, Lord, show me that you're answering me. Like, because if you don't give me the money, I'm going to feel like you're not answering me, right? And so I'm going through this thing. So one day I had an appointment one morning, so I had taken a half day at work. And so while I was driving to work, I had finished my appointment, and so I was on my way to work. And while I was on my way to work, I thought, let me call the dealership because I needed an oil change. Let me call the dealership and schedule my oil change. So I called the dealership, made an appointment for my oil change, and when he put me on hold, something just told me, ask him about, when I took it in, I couldn't trade it in for no money down because he said I would be upside down on it. But he did say you can refinance your car. Now, refinancing, does it save me money? Yes. But whatever money, it's almost like they charge you $2,000 to do the refinancing. So they just tack that on to the price of the car, right? They tack that on, that's $200 that you owe. So yes, I walk away with a lower payment every month, but I still owe like the same amount of money. You understand what I'm saying? So I was just like, And I was grateful though to pay less money, because I'm like, at least now I can, that difference. So my car note was like $448 or something like that. And so then when they refinanced it, it went down to $354 and some change. And so I was like, well, I'll just save that difference every month. Eventually I'll get to $1,200, right? So they did refinance, and when they refinanced, I got a new warranty. And so I was talking to the lady, and I was like, hey, well, this new warranty, will it cover this particular repair on my car? And she's like, I don't think so. And mind you, looking back, she didn't really care. She just wanted to seal this deal, right? Because it would make her money to refinance me, right? So whatever. So anyway, I was driving to work that day after my appointment, and I called to schedule an oil change, and something just told me to ask him about the warranty. Ask the guy, in the service department, like if this was going to be covered under the warranty. And so I was on hold, and I just asked when he came back, and I was like, yeah, can you see if this will be covered under the warranty? He was like, okay, hold on, let me see. So he came back, because in my head, I'm like, okay, all he can do is say no, and then I'll just be in the same predicament I've been in. I won't be any worse off by just asking the question. So he came back, and he was like, what warranty is it again? I was like, I don't know. So he's like, okay, I'll be back. So he went back to his computer, he came back, and he was like, oh yeah, we'll cover it. It's going to be covered. I was like, what? Like, so me praying for $1,200, like, God answered the prayer, right? He didn't give me the $1,200, but he did make a way for that repair to be done without me coming out of pocket. And God knew, I think I wasn't being a good steward over my finances. So even though I'm praying and asking for money, God will take care of it. God was taking care of things, but he just wasn't putting the money in my hand because I just wasn't a good steward over finances, And that's probably why he just didn't give me the money, because I wasn't being a good steward anyway. So needless to say, that car was repaired, and I didn't have to come out of pocket to pay for it. So fast forward, now we're at the end of 2022. So around November, is that where I am? Let me see, I'm checking my notes, y'all. So in November, when I refinanced $13,000. I refinanced, and what I had, so what I owe after the refinance is $13,579.24, and that doesn't include finance charges. So after that refinance, my payment went from $448 to $354 and some change. So those repairs were covered, right? So moving into 2024 started, I just arbitrarily started telling my friends, I was like, y'all, 2024 is going to be my year. And I was like, I don't know what's going to change, what's going to happen. 2024 is going to be my year. And then fast forward to March or whatever, I'm like, how am I going to make 2024 my year? Because I can't just say it and think it's going to happen. I have to be deliberate about life, right? But I was really in a place, though, this year where I was like, I really need to make some changes in my life. I was tired of just getting up, living the same life, praying that it would change, and not really taking real action to do it. And to be honest, what I really wanted to happen was I wanted to get married. I was tired of just living myself and doing life by myself. You guys, it's not that fun being single. It's fun being single, but there are times where it's like, hold on, we need a partner. We need a partner here in life. I just want to do things with a partner, right? And so I was like, but I have no control over that, right? I have control over how I look when I go out. I have control over being friendly to people. I have control over being intentional about getting out of the house and not just staying in the house all the time. But that's really all I have control over. I don't have control over whether somebody likes me or whatever. But I do have control over the things I have control over. But I was like, what do I really have control over that can really make an impact on my life? And that's when I decided that I'm going to get my finances in order. I just have to do it. I need to get my finances in order. And I knew that. I knew for me to have some type of real change this year, I needed to get my finances in order. So in March, mid-March, no, maybe the beginning of March, I started thinking I'm going to do Dave Ramsey's Total Money Maker. Now, I've had the book for years, 4 years, but I never thought I made enough money to even start. I was like, I don't care. I'm just going to start. So I just, again, read the book from cover to cover, and I'm like, okay. And so he had these preliminary things that you need to do. You need to make sure that you're caught up on all your bills. And I think at the time I needed to catch up my car note, and I needed to catch up my car insurance. I think everything else was caught up. So I had to catch up and be like and be current. And so then you start baby step number 1, like once you're current, right? Because you can't, it's not really, I guess, like trying to save when you owe money and you're late, you know, and stuff like that wasn't going to work. So you needed to be current. So I did that, right? And so I needed to document it. I needed to document it because I was like, I'm not going to do it. I didn't think, because you know, like when you start something new, it's exciting when you start, but then like that excitement wears off, and now it's like I'm just back to doing the same old things. And I really didn't want to fall back into that pattern, so I threw it up on YouTube. I was like, somebody gonna call me out if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, so let me just put it here. I didn't tell my friends that I was, you know, doing the YouTube channel. I didn't do nothing. I told my other channel, but I never told my people in real life. I was like, I'm just going to put it out there for the world, right? So then I started, you know, the process of saving the $1,000 and everything like that. And it took less time than I thought. I believe I started my YouTube channel in April, and I think by the end of May, my $1,000 was saved. So that was probably about 7 weeks, maybe 7 weeks that it took me to save the $1,000. And then I got to baby step number 2. I started having debts being canceled, things being charged off. So I was like, hey, here I am. I'm at my car, right? That's the only thing left. And so then earlier, maybe a few videos ago, I was like, hey, my goal is to be debt-free by June of 2025. Great. However, now I want to challenge myself to pay that debt off early. I want to get rid of it early. I want to be gazelle intense when it comes to paying off this debt of $10,000. What is it again, y'all? $10,836.55. And so that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So the way I plan on doing it, is that so I'm going to keep making my monthly payment. So it's $354 and some change, but I'm going to pay $355 every month. That's what I have every month. But I also have some extracurricular work. So that is work outside of the normal school hours that I have. And so next week, or tomorrow, starting tomorrow, I have a full week of band camp where I'm going to be working. And so tomorrow, basically, I just go back to work. I go back to work tomorrow because after next week, the following week is orientation and the first day of school, and just go on. So tomorrow, I'm officially back at work. My summer is finished. It is finished, okay? So every week I plan on giving you an update of the extra money that I've earned. I can tell you what that is before taxes, so I can tell you the before taxable amount. And then I do have a running trip coming up, of course, in September. So part of that money is going to fund that trip, and then the other half, I'm going to allocate half to that trip, and the other half I'm going to just throw straight to the car. And just all of it. Just put it to, after I tithe, of course, I tithe and then split the rest in half. That's going to go to the trip, and that's going to go to the car. And subsequently after that, every extra cent is going to go to the car. The only thing I might need to buy is like a raincoat or rain jacket, because I am going to be outside for marching band and different things like that. I do need to be prepared. I do need like a raincoat of sorts. And then hand warmers, because I won't be able to wear gloves and interpret at the same time. So I'll need something to put my hands in to make it warm. And then when it's time to interpret, I can interpret effectively. And then I'll need just a fall jacket. So those are two things that I do need to buy. But other than that, for my trip in September, it's a camping runcation. And so I'm gonna like just ask my friends, like, hey, do y'all have camping stuff, sleeping bags, whatever I can borrow, I'm gonna borrow. I'm going to spend as less as possible, because that was something pre-planned. This was planned at the end of 2023. So, and I made a commitment to the people, like to the team, and so I can't just dip out. So I'm gonna do that. And then, so every week I plan on giving you an update of how much money I've made that week. And then once it comes in, obviously it'll come in like pre-taxed. No, it'll come in my regular paycheck, and it'll be taxed already. So I'll just and they let us, they show us like the breakdown, like what's my regular pay, what's my extracurricular pay. And so I'll be able to, I'll have to figure out like what percentage of taxes was taken out so that I know how much. I think is that on the paycheck? That might be on the pay stub. It might tell me how much, because when they pay you, this is how much you made, this is how much you're getting, your net or your gross and your net. So that should be broken down already. So it should be pretty easy for me to figure out how much I have to allocate. So that should be good. So I'm going to give you guys an update every week. And guys, I got monetized. Y'all have gotten me here. Y'all have gotten me here. I have 1,000 subscribers, and it happened on Thursday. It happened on Thursday evening. It was late. It was like 10:26 in the evening. I had been stalking my YouTube. It was 999. 999, then we'll go 998, 999, and then finally Thursday night it was 1,000. And what's interesting is that it was 1,000. And I was like, I wonder how long YouTube waits before they say you can apply for monetization. So I just went over there to just see, and it was like, you did it, come apply, like right away. And I'm like, but what if it go down to 999? They do not care. Once you reach 1,000, that's it. There's no like, they don't like penalize you like if somebody like unsubscribes or stuff like that, because I think I had gone down to like 998, but now it's like up to like 1,001 or something like that. But once I applied, they didn't like take it back just because it went down to like 999 or whatever. And so so I did reach 1,000 subscribers, and I reached my 4,000 watch hours like a month and a half ago. Like I think I'm like at like around 6,000 watch hours or whatever. So yes, I had, and guys, this was totally accidental. Like this YouTube channel was, it started off as like accidental success. Like when that first video took off, my very first video on this channel took off, I was like, and then week after week, I'm like, wait, people are coming back. People are coming back for this. And so me like being, I guess, under this like money niche or financial niche or whatever, that was purely accidental. It wasn't like a plan or anything like that. But then once I saw the growth, I decided to start learning. I'm like, okay, now I need to learn, like, because I didn't necessarily know what I was doing to like get the viewership or get the interest, you know, or get people to watch. And so I was like, well, let me now learn about YouTube. So I've been watching a lot of Think Media and Think Media podcast. It's really good, and just making like little changes here and there. I don't know if you guys notice or anything like that, but I'm not a big editor. Of course, you all know that already. I'm not a huge editor, but not yet. Maybe I'll learn some things this year, but yeah. You guys, and so my plan for YouTube, now I don't know like how much I'm capable of making, but my goal is to make $600 by the end of the year, because after you make $600, you pay taxes on it. And so because I've purchased some things to do YouTube, like I purchased a tripod that just came. I purchased a laptop this year. That wasn't necessarily for YouTube, but I do use it for YouTube. I've purchased a course just the other day through Think Media, because I'm like, well, if I'm going to do it, I've always been the type of person that if I'm going to do something, I want to do it well. And so I'm like, okay, so if I'm going to do it, I don't want to just do whatever. I want to, I want you guys to be pleased with the product at the end of the day. And so I am investing in learning and getting to know more about the analytics, like all the things, you guys. And so So if I don't make over $600, I don't think I can write off the things. I'm not sure about that, but so I think I'm done with all my purchasing. I purchased a course that's going to happen on around August 10th. It'll be next month, and it'll get me like a coach for one day. I get a one day, like I think an hour with a one-on-one coach from Think Media. So an hour session. I think they'll analyze my channel, let me know what to do, different things like that. And so I'm excited about that. So my goal is to make over $600, $601, so I can pay taxes on it and write off the things that I need to, that I can write off. And so hopefully it'll be something profitable for me. But again, like that, I thought, I was just praying like, Lord, if I can, in a year get monetized or whatever. But I only started even praying that after I saw the growth. And I was like, wait a minute, let me take a step back. Let me, what if YouTube can be a factor in this debt payoff, right? How can YouTube, and so now I'm like, well, YouTube can go directly to paying off my car loan early, right? So whatever I make in YouTube, and you guys, I have made a whopping $1.99 since Thursday. I've literally made money while I was sleeping. My residual income, guys. And so, but anyhow, I'm excited about that. I appreciate you guys watching and tuning in and coming back and commenting and asking questions. So with that said, I did promise a 1,000 subscriber live Q&A, and that is in the works. I just need to plan. So I'll probably take one of my Sundays instead of doing a sit down video and do a live Q&A. Like around the same time, probably that this one would go live, or in the evening or something like that. I'll probably do that. I'll probably put out a poll to see what day and time works best for you guys, because if I do a live, I really want somebody there for me to talk to. So just come and sit, just let it play. So I'm doing a Q&A just to make sure, and I'm asking you guys for questions just to make sure I have something to talk about on the live, So bring me your questions. I'm entering my Gazelle Intense era, not just with finances, but also with YouTube. And it's fun. It's been fun. It's been a journey, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun. I've met a couple, not met in person yet, but I have met a couple local YouTubers whose channels I follow, and it's been exciting to get to know that I have YouTuber colleagues in the area that we can do meetups and things like that, just to kind of, talk and help each other, So anyhow, thank you guys for watching today. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to leave any questions for the live Q&A, feel free to do that. That'll be exciting, and I will see you guys next week.